We are reading Atma Bodha self-knowledge textbook written by Adi Shankara. He is the earliest guru who expounded, who brought this Advaita Vedanta. It was always there. He brought it to the public. In verse number 1, we are reviewing the first 3 verses, and then we are going from there. Verse 1, last week we did, I, Shankara, is teaching the self-knowledge to those who have performed prayer, meditation, charity, donation, all the good righteousness, and those who have purified their mind from the negativities of anger, jealousy, guilt, ego, and those who have a burning desire, the intense desire to liberate from this samsara bondage. This liberation is not far, far away after death. It is right here and now in the current body. It doesn't mean that others who do not have this, they are disqualified. It just says that you identify your weakness, work on it in parallel with this knowledge that I am going to teach you about. Verse 2, the entire humanity has been doing these prayers for generations. We go to church, mosque, temples, prayer, meditation, service, charity, rituals for the deceased. The entire humanity is doing all these actions. But actions can only produce, procure, purify, and modify. Actions are not opposite to ignorance. So you can, if you want to know bicycling, you can bring a bike, you can wash it, you can clean it, you can oil it, you can put the air in the pressure tire, but you won't know. All these are actions. You have to do it. You have to practice it only then. So actions are only, they can only produce and procure. These are required for purity of the mind. All these rituals that we do, they will not remove the ignorance. The example he gives in verse 2 is the fire. The fire is the primary cause for cooking. Whatever you want to cook, you need that fire. Without fire, you cannot do it. You may have everything else. You may have space, vessels, all the ingredients, but without fire, you cannot cook. Just as the fire is the primary cause for cooking, so also self-knowledge is the primary cause for removing the ignorance. That is why the self-knowledge is compared to fire. Around the globe, everywhere, we use flame, we use candle, we use lamp, we use, why do we use, the entire globe uses it? Because that represents the knowledge. That self-knowledge is equivalent to light. So every religion follows this. They use some tribals, some use sun. In fact, in India today is the sun god. We worship the sun deity because I want that knowledge. That is the significance of it. Lamp, candle. So today is Makara Shankranti, they call it, which is worshipping of sun deity. Verse number 3. All this lifelong spiritual practice cannot remove ignorance. Just like you see a snake outside your window, and then when you see the snake, the coiled snake, immediately the emotion of fear comes in. You raise your voice, thought, word. Then you want to do something, that is action. Thought, word, and deed. You try to push it with a stick or throw a bucket of water or call animal control, do something. So the thought, word, and deed happens. But when in fact, once you know the rope, snake vanishes. So too, once you gain the self-knowledge, ignorance dissolves completely. Just like the darkness dissolves when the light comes. So upon acquiring self-knowledge, the ignorance dissolves instantaneously. Ignorance and knowledge cannot coexist. Darkness and light cannot coexist. When the sun comes, sun and darkness cannot coexist. So too, the ignorance, when we are unaware of who I am, who is God, when we don't question it, we are in this rat race of life going on and on. What is knowledge? Atman and Brahman are one. Atman is the one that is in this body, which triggers, which activates this inert body. This body is able to speak, talk, eat or walk, perform things, think, makes decision, all this because that Atman is present in this body. If that Atman is not there, nothing will happen. That knowledge, the one Atman which is in this body, it is the same, Atman and Brahman, at the microcosmic level and at the macrocosmic level. One alone is, and that one is in every being, whether it is an ant or a cat or a dog or a human. It is in every being, ekam, advitiyam, one without a second. We don't even say one because one can be divided into two halves. So one without a second. That is verse number 3. Now, verse number 4. Atma appears to be limited. I am, because it appears to be limited, I said this is Vijaya and that is Sahiti, that is Dharan, that is Poonam, because we limit that one Atman in each embodiment. How do these thoughts appear? These thoughts come to us because of ignorance. We don't know who I am. I think I am Vijaya. I associate I with this body. As long as we are in ignorance, these thoughts, that rich and poor, superior, inferior, beautiful, ugly, male, female, Christian, Muslim, all these differences, plurality will be in our mind. These differences, disparities are of the world, of the body, and in the mind. I am this body is ignorance. You are not this body. This body is a tool. So here we are going to, we have seen this chart last time, but I'm going to show it again. You are that. You are that Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, which is superior, supreme, one alone is. You are not this. This is body, mind, and intellect. Because of our thoughts, past actions, either in this birth or in previous births, we believe in karma. That's how we take this body. I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this intellect. This body perceives objects. See, only with the 5 senses, you'll know all the things outside of you. A tree, a plant, or a human, or an animal. Body perceives. Or you listen to the music. You know the difference between music and sound and a noise. Because with your ears, you taste different things with your tongue. That's how you know the difference. This is sweet, that is salty. You smell. This is a fragrance, that is a foul smell. With these senses, we feel it. That is body perceives object. Mind feels emotions. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm happy. All these things are of the mind. Intellect makes decision. Should I do this? Should I not do this? What is this? What is right? Should I take the bus or a train? Should I respond to this situation? How do I respond to this situation? All these things are done by intellect. And these are the tools that for us, these are not, this is not you. You are that. So that not knowing that is what causes all these differences. When the ignorance is gone, all differences vanishes. Say, for example, there are several pots with different shapes and size, all clay pot. One is a plate, one is a cup, one is a bowl, one is a big planting pot. They all have water in it. And there is a reflection of sun in all of them. You call a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and that kid will say there are 7 suns. When in fact, sun is only one. It reflects in 7 medias. So also that one Atman is reflecting in different bodies. The bodies may be different, tall, short, different sizes, colors, whatever. But one alone is. That is called Kaivalya in Sanskrit, Kevalaha. That is the meaning of just being one. And it is the state of being one. When you close your eyes and sit quietly and see yourself, you are the seer. Everything else is seen. Aham idam, that is I and this. Whenever you say this, you are not that this. This is different from I, right? So the sun is ever present. He gives an example. The sun is ever present, but there is a cloud that is covering the sun. So it is not making the sun visible to us. Similarly, Atman is ever present in this body, in every body. But because what we have in our mind, the dirt in our mind, it is covering that Atman. Okay? That observer alone is. That is self-knowledge. That self-knowledge will remove that ignorance. That's what is in everybody. 1 minute, somebody is coming, admit. So one alone is, which is in everybody. That one is in all beings and is referred as Atma, Nirguna Brahma, or Absolute. You can call it with any name. There is only one. Verse number 5. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnana vyasat vinirmalam kritvam jnanam swayam naschet jalam katakarenuvat. That is, human beings, individuals are polluted, contaminated because of avidya, ignorance. And what is that ignorance? I and mine. Ahamkaram and mamakaram. I educated that my nephew. I got him a job. I did this. I did that. I donated. I built temple. All these are ego. I am the doer. I performed this. I accomplished this. No, all the things that we do, they are all expression of that one, which is in everybody. Just like you go for a walk, when you are walking, you smell nice fragrance of flowers. You don't see the flower. It is an expression of the flower in somebody's backyard. So every action that is performed by human beings is an expression of that divinity that is in that body. Now, how can that jiva, that individual with lots of ego, can gain self-knowledge? Practice the acquired knowledge repeatedly, again and again. By constant, consistent, regular practice, that jiva becomes pure. Which knowledge? One alone is. The one that is in this body is the same in all bodies. At the microcosmic level, at the macrocosmic level, there is only one, indivisible. It is called Akantakaram in Sanskrit. Akanta means indivisible. From there came the word continent in English. Kantam means broken off, piece. Akantam means entire, whole. From there, that's the knowledge. What is here is what there. I am that. I and that are one. When I say I, the Atman in this body is the same as that Brahman, universal. What is meditation? I have attended several meditation groups, even for 2 hours at a stretch. But sometimes I used to get headache because what I didn't know at that time, 20 years ago, what am I meditating on? The process of negating the false ID with the false matter envelopment and asserting our divine nature constitute the art of meditation. It is in that self-knowledge, Atma Bodha book, paragraph fourth paragraph. It may all, for us, for beginners, it may appear to be a little difficult to comprehend, but just keep listening. Eventually, you will get clarified. How do we acquire that knowledge? Or any knowledge? Suppose if I want to see a pen, how do I get this knowledge? I get this knowledge because when we see, we don't actually see the object. The light comes and then it gets diffracted. We see the light wave. When we only see the light wave, we don't see the object per se. That light wave hits our retina. Same thing with when we hear the echo, the sound waves hits the ear canal, and from there it gets into the brain. So when we get the knowledge by looking at something is because the light waves, we are seeing the light waves, a vibration. Now the student is asking, I am the seer. I'm looking at the pen. I am the seer. This is the scene, and there is a connection between these two. So how can you say there is only one? There are three. How can you, in Sanskrit it's called Triputi. Just by meditating on Atma, two cannot become one. The one, that one alone is that statement doesn't seem valid to me. Without this knowledge, there is no liberation, there is no moksha. But I don't see that. That is the response in verse 5. Shankara says, constant, consistent, regular practice, that I am that. I am the one who is the seer, observer, witness. And he gives an example. Those days in that verse 5, he talks about kataka nut, which is as good as, let's say in today's terminology, chlorine. We put chlorine in water. What happens? All the dust settles down. At one point, the chlorine also dissolves. Then we are able to drink that clear water. So as when we keep on saying Aham Brahmasmi in every action, but that we do on a regular basis, when I am cleaning the kitchen, yes, I am clean. This body is cleaning the kitchen because this Atma is there. I am eating. Who is eating? This Jiva is eating because that Atma is present in this body. So conscious awareness, when we keep on thinking about that one, which is in this body, which is activating, at one point, that even that thought will dissolve, just like chlorine. That is example is, here, I'll show you the next one. One more screen. Just like this, pole vault. You need that pole till the end. And it doesn't, you are not throwing it. It falls off automatically. It falls off and you jump into the next one, the other side. So also even the mind, the thought, I am that thought will also dissolve finally when you are ready to realize that one. So in transaction life, we experience many differences. Vedanta Upanishad categorizes into 3 differences. One is Vijatiya Bhedam, that is between human and beings, other beings. A variety of species you can see, from a single point celled amoeba to worms, ants, insects, fish, snake, four-legged animals, domestic animals, wild animals, nocturnal animals. They are all different from human beings. Think about the plants, bushes, creepers, vines, trees, even diversity among trees alone. There are thousands of trees, oak tree, pine tree, mango tree, trees alone. Have you ever, when you go for a walk, have you ever seen the nature, all the trees? They don't have the same patch of green. Each green has different shade. Multiplicity. Multiplicity is nothing but diversity. Diversity is natural. Fruits, how many different types of fruits we have? How many different types of vegetables we have? Flowers we have. So this is all natural. So the human and everything else is different. That is one first difference. The second one is within humans. We all have different blood group. One is A, one is AB, one is O, one is B. Different blood groups, different people, height, shape, size, color. All these differences. Not only that, in transactional life, rich, poor, employer, employee, teacher, student. That is within human beings. The third one is within one body. Just take one body. Has different organs. Each one has its own purpose. What the eyes do, ears can do. What the nose does, tongue can do. What the tongue does, the nose can do. Each one has a definite important, significant functionality. You can walk with your hands, but it's not as efficient as walking on your feet. Similarly, each individual, each being in this universe, appearing universe, is definite significant importance. A worm goes into the soil and loosens the soil so that the roots can go in. That is the functionality of a worm. So we have to understand the differences of natural process. We don't want to say this one is better. What we say is this one is better, that one is not good, this one is good. It's all in our mind. It's all in our mind. What is only one Atman. Differences are just diversity. That's how we see the beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What is in our mind? Some say weed, some say it's when a green lawn has a flower, some say it is weeds. But whereas others say it is beautiful. I see tiny yellow flowers in green. So it's all, everything is expression of that one Atman, and has no that which has no difference. One appears as many. One message, many messengers. That alone is one without a second. So now, is it really possible to realize that? Now, that is just like the chlorine dissolves, you automatically, everything dissolves, all the thought, just like that pole vault, including the last stick, the mind, the thought, I am that thought also dissolves, and you alone is then you crystallize. One alone is. That is verse 5. Verse 6. What is samsara? What is life? Life is nothing but a bondage. Just like a dream. What is dream? When we sleep and we dream, everything from the day's experience comes into the dream, but they materialize, or something from the previous birth. If you don't remember anything that you have seen, something new comes, it's maybe from the previous birth. It comes in the form of a dream. So also, Upanishad states that the three states of life, the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state, all three are nothing but a long dream. From life, birth to death, all these three states, they call it Triswapnaha. It's all a long dream. I can dream at night that I gave you $100. When I wake up, I cannot ask you, Aritra, I gave you $100, give me back. No, that was in a different plane, right? So when I am in that plane, everything seems to be very real. I had dinner with you, I had this, we went out, we had this, we watched a movie, all those things during that time, dream state. At that time, they all appeared real. When I'm in that state, the waking state and the deep sleep state, both are unreal. When I'm in the waking state and I'm working, I'm doing all these chores, dream state and deep sleep state are unreal. We are in 3 different planes on a daily basis. We see the snake and the rope. Snake is also an experience. It gave me fear. Rope is also experience. Same thing. They are all experience of the dreamer's experience, the waker's experience. All this appears to be true. But what is behind all this is the substratum. In each plane, each one appears to be true, but the substratum who is there, who is seeing the waking state, the waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper, all these 3 are seen by one. That is consciousness. That is the Brahman, Atman. Just like the snake disappears upon realizing the rope, the world disappears upon realizing Atman. It doesn't mean that physically it disappears. It appears as Brahman. Everything appears as Brahman, Brahman's expressions. Because snake was never there. Snake merged with the rope. So also the seen and seer both are one. In Sanskrit, Brahma Satyam Jagat Nitya. The one, the substratum of all 3 alone is. That is verse number 6. Now we go to verse number 7. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. You can write it down. We can discuss that at the end of the class session. The subject is little deeper. It's going deeper and deeper. So you will have questions. No question is silly. Don't think. If you don't ask questions, you'll never learn it. You'll never know it. So always be prepared to ask questions. Okay, now we are in verse number 7. The world appears to be real as long as the substratum, the foundation, the basis, foundation is not known, is not realized. Say you want to buy silver, you are thinking about it in your mind for a month and you didn't buy it, and you go to suddenly one day you go to the beach and you see something shining in the sand. You go and pick it up. Oh, wow, there is a silver here, and you pick it up. And it is just a seashell. The shell was shining like silver in the sunlight. It appears to be like silver. Once you realize that it is the seashell, then you know it is not silver. Once you realize that Brahman alone is in every being, then there is no world per se. There is no difference. Everything is one. Scientists, we can say, entire universe is made up of atoms and molecules, protons and neutrons. But what is behind all those? They don't have the answer. There cannot be any effect without a cause. Nothing can come out of emptiness. Something has to be there. For the snake to appear, the rope has to be there. Rope alone exists, and it appears to be a snake. The rope never modified into snake. And the snake appears to exist, creating emotions of fear in me. Rope alone is real. Similarly, that presence, that inner presence, the Atman alone is real. And that Atman which is in this body is the same in every body. The world appears to be as long as that one is not known. All movements, all changes, all activities are because of that one stationary, immovable presence. We know the world appears to be changing constantly, right? How? That is because with reference to the ever-present immovable substratum, the universe appears to be changing. Say, for example, you are on a train. You just got onto the train, you're sitting, the train starts moving. How do you know the train is moving? Because you see the station, you see the trees, they are all moving. With reference to something that is stationary, the train appears to be moving. Otherwise, you won't even know the train is moving. You won't even know the plane is moving when you're sitting in a plane. The universe, similarly, the change is the only thing that is constant, we say, the change that is happening around us in this world. The universe appears to be moving with reference to something that is not moving. That immovable substratum is the presence, is the Atman, is the Brahman. Because that immovable is there, it appears to be changing. Everything is changing. Think about a movie screen. You see a movie screen and you see movie running into it. There's a baby born, the baby goes to school, then grows big, romantic scenes, then the baby gets married. Some old person in the family passes away. All these different things are happening in that movie. And all these changes, you won't even know if the screen is not there. Because the screen is there, everything is projected on that. We don't see the screen, we only see all these things and then experience these emotions. When in fact, what is there is only the screen. That is why it is called achalam, that it cannot move, it is unshakable, it is not moving. A pendulum is there, pendulum can move back and forth. It has got room in it. But if it is all pervasive, it is everywhere, where can it move? Chalam is a movement, shake, vibration. That is verse number 7. Verse 8. Varini, that is, the verse says, Upadane akila dare jaganti parameshware sargasthiti layam yanti budbudani iva varini. Line 4, varini means water. We see water bubbles, foam. These rise in water, sustain in water, and dissolve in water. You cannot take a foam and keep it here and say this is foam. It has no form and it has only the name. It has no separate existence. Their substratum is water. Similarly, the entire universe, including all plants, galaxies, that one without a second is the substratum. Just like that water. Everything rises in that, sustains in that, dissolves in that. Jesus says we are children of God. What does that mean? When I wake up in the morning, the I thought comes, that the ego, I am awake. The ego thought comes. Throughout the day, the I thought continues. I did this, I need to do that, I did that, that I continues. When I'm in a deep sleep, I completely dissolves. There's no more I. When I'm in deep sleep, I don't know I, the ego. For any creation, you need 3 things. The material thing, material cause, efficient cause, and instrumental cause. Say you want to make a clay pot, the clay needs to be there. That is the material cause. And the pot maker is the instrumental, efficient cause. He thinks and decides the shape, size, and everything. Then instrumental cause is the wheel, but we are not talking about that in this verse. We are talking only about the clay, the material cause. In verse 8, the material cause for the bubbles is water, right? That is why because that water is there, that bubbles come, form. The material cause for this universe is that one presence. The material cause for this is that one presence. Because of that one presence, everything happens. That one presence is called, we can call it any name. You can call it God, you can call it consciousness, you can call it awareness, the capital C and capital A. But actually God is an acronym. Generator, operator, dissolver. Dissolver is destroyer, also can say destroyer of ignorance. Never to sprout again. That alone is in this body and in every body that we see. But because we use our 5 senses, these senses are programmed to see the differences. The eye has to see the red differentiate the red from the maroon. The ears have to differentiate the noise from the sound. The tongue has to differentiate the taste. The nose has to differentiate the smell. So these are tools that are projected outside, but we have to go in and start get into the inquiry mode. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the point of this life? So that is self-inquiry. Verse number 9, that one supreme presence is in all movables, immovables, plants, animals, humans. It is all pervading, everywhere. Existence, consciousness, bliss. All experiences that we experience, they are all through 5 senses. And because of that, we see the differences. That alone is present, continuous. Go, the verb go, you can say going, but is has no ising. Is ever existent, present, continuous. I will have a PowerPoint later on for a few minutes. You see, ocean. You go to the ocean, you go to the beach, the water just touches your feet. You see ferocious waves, different shape, size, everything. But what is only water? No difference. Only one alone is. One presence alone is in every body. That is verse number 9. Now we go to verse 10. There are 5 blind people. Literally, legally blind. They go and touch an elephant. This is a standard Vedanta example. One touches the leg and says, this is a pillar. Another touches the stomach and says, this is a ceiling. Third one touches the tail and says, this is a rope. Fourth one is touches the ear of an elephant and says, this is a fan. Another one touches the trunk and says, this is a snake. But Mahoto knows the truth. He combines all these experiences and describes the elephant to all of them. Many to one. Similarly, human beings have limited perception. We see through our mind. We have limited perception. When in fact, the bigger picture, we don't see the bigger picture. We only see limited perception. Many examples are given in scriptures to emphasize that one alone is. The student asks, how do you say only one in such a diversity? I see a variety of things, many, many things in everything. Say you enter into a room and there are multiple mirrors in that room. You are one, but you will see many reflections, right? Similarly, that one presence reflects in every body. Sun reflects in all water bodies, oceans, lake, pond, bucket of water. But just like when you remove the mirrors, when you remove all these water bodies, you will see only one presence. Another example, think about your own home. You have a living room, dining room, kitchen, bathroom. There is space in every room. All one space is divided by walls. When you break all the walls, there is only one space. When you break the house, a neighboring house, there's only one bigger space. Space is one. Similarly, Atma is one. Space is pervading, all pervading, under the desk, under the bed, under the dresser, everywhere, any corner. Atman is in everything. In winter, we have multiple dress. We put on a sleeveless and a half sleeve and a full sleeve and a sweater and a jacket. But none of these are me. They're all covering me. So also the 5 koshas that we talk about, the food sheath, air sheath, mind sheath, intellect sheath, bliss sheath, annamaya, pranamaya, manonmaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya. All these are covering that Atman. You have to remove one by one. Remove one by one. Go inside and see that one alone is. And with that, we conclude verse number 10. I don't want to stuff you too many. This is a deeper subject, unlike our regular school lessons. So there's no point in stuffing too many things. You just understand whatever you can, think about it, contemplate it, and then ask questions. I will show you a PowerPoint presentation for a few minutes, not long. Individual, verse number 5. Individual is indivisible. That's what it is, non-dual. You are not separate from anything else. The Brahman plus this body, mind, and intellect, that is Vijaya, or it's your name. But when all these things are broken, what is that Atman alone. That Atman and that Brahman at the cosmic, microcosmic and macrocosmic, both are one and the same. There are no two, only one. Even a dead body has Atman, but body is not functional. It does not reflect. What is meditation? What do you meditate on? The process of negating false ID, the false matter envelopments, body, mind, and intellect, and asserting our divine nature constitutes the art of meditation. That's what meditation, you are reflecting on who I am, who am I? That's meditation. A constant, continuous practice is necessary. Now, what do you see? We see many, many waves in the regular asses, right? One is ferocious, one is taller, one is stronger, one has got more pressure, one has got more force. One just touches your feet. What is only water, nothing else. That one appears as many. You have jewelries, bracelets, bangles, earrings, nose ring, finger rings, chain. But what is only gold. You can't take out the gold and say, okay, take out the gold and give me only the bracelet or only the chain. You cannot. Because that bracelet has no separate existence. It is leaning on that gold. One alone is, gold alone is. All are appearances. You see multiple parts. You can plant here, you can store water here, you can use this as a decorative piece. You can use food, keep food here. This is for drinking, this is for planting, this is for storage, water, pitcher. But they're all nothing but clay. Clay alone is. There is no second. But they appear to be different based on their functionalities. So also we all have different functions in this universe. Every being, every existence has different functions. No one is insignificant. A little tiny little worm, it goes inside the soil and loosens the soil so that the roots can go down. That is its function. What is behind all this? We use this on a daily basis. What is running all this is the electricity. You cannot touch it, you cannot feel it, you cannot taste it, you cannot see it, but it is there. If this one equipment, if this one fan is not working, the equipment is not working. That's why I said that even the dead body has it. That electricity is always there, that Atman is always there, but the unit is not functioning. We call it hammer, wrench, different tools. But what is only iron. They're all iron. That's it. Only one. There's only one appears again as many with different colors for a fraction of time. There are no many fireworks. There's only one. Everything comes from that one. One is only one source. You see this chain? What do you see? Different colors, different shapes, beautiful. But what is through all this is a thread inside. We don't see the thread. That is what is holding on the whole thing together. So also that one Atman is holding on the entire humanity together. We are not different. We look different. We appear different because of our mind. What is only one. There is no second. That is, with that we end number 10. Next week, 11 to 15 is much deeper. So let me pause here. Let me stop and then we'll talk for a few minutes. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.